Yogurt. So I'm sitting here recapping. We've been doing a whole lot recently, and I want to take you guys along. Today we did take another loss. Said before, and I'll say it again, losses nor wins don't really matter. Right now, I'm really just trying to figure out what is it that I need to continue to do right in order to get to where I need to get to. This is a funny image I drew out, but it's true. Let me show it to you guys. This right here. This is the actual copywritten one, where it has my name, so nobody can steal it. I'm joking. But I have good trading habits. And I was on call with a friend of mine, close friend of mine, and he said everybody always tries to focus on whatever goal it is, 100K per month, 30K per month, 10K per month. Everybody emphasizes this, that final target. But you have to take into consideration, you only have so many arrows in your quill. So you can't just keep trying to shoot 100 meters, ignoring the simple 5-meter targets right in front of you. Well, 5 is 15 feet. That's still far. 2-meter targets, right? So focus on hitting each target at the top. Focus on the constant progression of hitting each target first, and allow that to continue to propel you forward. And then this was something funny I drew out. And I wrote, focus on hitting the targets in front of you, not the final target. Obviously, this final target is subjective. It grows as you make more money. But the final target, is that. However, our focus right now is just building the proper steps back up. Where does that start? Not at focusing on making 10K per month. It starts with focusing on the good habits, understanding everything about your trading, how you trade, your data analytics, your data points, your weak points, your strong points. It's that's actually the one benefit school taught me. But let's get into it, because there's a lot. There is the trading, there is what I'm about to do utilizing my TradeZella. There is this is my Notion. And then this is a mind map I've been creating pertaining to my trading. It's not large compared to what you see online. Pause. But it's having its workarounds. Right now, I'm emphasizing all of our losses concise of these specific factors right here. Bad quality trade setups, trade timing, trading against trend, not waiting for prominent liquidity sweep, forced trades, fail to react, invalid stop loss, not about liquidity sweep, greed, FOMO, and a tightened stop loss. Each one has a reason for being there. If you can't break down each reasoning for each one being there, you will continue to make the same mistake. Now, mind map is different for everybody. I just recently discovered a mind map yesterday. This has changed my life because I'm someone who usually mind maps on pen and paper, but I didn't know it was a mind map, so I just sporadically write everywhere, write my thoughts, and I throw it away because I don't have a place to break everything down. But I'm just showing this to you guys for people who may think a lot and need to get their thoughts out in a way to where they can actually go in and break everything down. So what I'm doing right now is I'm breaking everything down to its root fundamental on why I am making the mistake. There is a reasoning, whether that be technical or psychological, on why you are making the mistakes you're making. And if you don't at least attempt to figure it out, you'll keep making the same mistakes. The best thing is, guess what? You can't fully eliminate it. And you may be like, well, why are you saying that's the best thing? That's not the best thing. It is. And the reasoning behind that is you don't have to put so much stress on trying to eliminate that specific factor. You just have to focus on the systematic approach to help you eliminate that factor. It's like cutting out the bad root before it begins to blossom into a poison ivy. That doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. So we're focusing on the root right now. We're not focusing on, the dead fig tree already blossomed. Well, fig tree is dead. It's not blossomed. But you get what I mean. And so that should be everybody's emphasis. And I'm just taking you guys into like my raw thought process. I'm going to recap the trade. But to be honest, I've been caring less and less about the trades that I take. And it's not because the trade outcome or I'm trying to gamble away to some. Because I've become data driven. All I want are the data analytics and pinpoints about my strategy on where to improve. I don't care about I wish I could care about these trades. Obviously, I look into them for more data, but that's the only reason why I'm looking into them. I'm not looking into them for a profit factor nor a loss factor. If I take you guys to my Top Step accounts, these are about to get blown. So I have 3 right now. 3 you see 3 150k combines. These are about to get blown. I reset one of them. Yeah, I reset one of them, and that was about to get blown again. And does that mean I'm gonna go and continuously spend more and more money on 150k accounts? No, I'll probably dumb it down to 150k or 50k accounts until I get more data and then go back in even harder. So it's not about passing a challenge or whatever the case is. So I just want you guys to get that out of your mindset. If you're someone that is, maybe struggling passing a challenge, or it's like, oh my gosh, one, are seeing the result I want to see. I was expecting to buy this challenge, be immediately in profit, pass it within the first week, pass it within the first 2 weeks, pass it within the first month. It's not about passing it within a time frame. It's about knowing that you have enough. Where you are right now, you have enough. Close friend of mine told me that. And just doing the proper habits that will lead you eventually in due time toward your goal. Yes, you can expedite that process. Don't rush it, and don't focus on how long it's taking you to get there. Just focus on doing what you need to do. Expedite it in ways that you can expedite it, but not rush it. And like a sailor with this ship, you will arrive in the port in due time. So let's recap the trade, and I'll go into all the other stuff because this recording is already 7 minutes long. The trade's super easy recap. Probably take a minute to recap. What happened on the daily time frame? Well, daily I was actually bullish. So you can see right here, this is what I wrote. If you can't read it, I'll enlarge it for you. I wrote overall current trend bullish to the upside. However, on the higher time frame, previously on Friday we swept out macro daily liquidity. We're still looking to follow trend until anything on the lower time frame may showcase to us that we won't currently validate a bullish trade bias. This trade bias would be bullish to bearish. What confluences would need to happen? Hourly and 15-minute showcase the market structure shift with strong displacement to the downside and validating bullish for value gaps, possibly looking to make a deeper retracement before continuing higher. However, we are bullish. If we are bullish, we fail to displace with strength to the downside and still hold valid to the upside. However, hourly time frame and 15 are currently looking bearish, possibly showcasing a market structure shift. We did have a new day opening gap right here on the 4-hour, very, very small, but you can see it right there. We just retraced into it. And on the daily, obviously, but daily we haven't retraced into because we don't have the next daily candle. Price action was bullish up to this point until on the 15-minute time frame. I seen the one thing I mentioned, didn't mention, which was the invalidation of this 15-minute imbalance, having it become a inverse fair value gap. We displaced with strong strength to the downside. This was the change character to the downside. So I was looking for one of two things. Primarily, I was emphasizing this second trade execution rather than the latter. The latter is the one I would typically execute on. We see the displacement to the downside. Cool. Go down to the 5-minute time frame, see what we see. Okay, cool. 5-minute imbalance. Set the entry at the 5-minute equilibrium. Bam, right there. Stop above, the lower high. It was the second high to the downside. The sweep, I guess. The overall sweep. Not the full overall sweep. That's all the way up here. But the second sweep, you get what I mean. And targeting this retracement for the 4-hour imbalance, right? But I figured, well, that's a 55-point stop. I think we could get an even better entry if we wait for a double market structure shift. This is something I'm actually going to look into, which is the 5-minute, making that push back to the upside. However, having that extra confluence on the 1-minute time frame with that micro time frame 1-minute market structure shift back to the downside, allowing us to get an even tighter stop loss with a slight increased risk reward. It wasn't about increasing the risk reward drastically, just seeing if we get a slight better risk reward. And the risk reward increase was so insignificant. I should have executed on the 5-minute imbalance. However, I didn't, because I wanted to test this out on top of everything that I have, because I've seen it work and I've seen it not work, but didn't get a full gauge. Haven't gotten a full gauge yet. So that's exactly what price action did. Retrace back to the upside. Now, I will say this entry in particular was pretty janky. I have not fully tested inverse fair value gap entries. How I typically use inverse fair value gaps is within confluence to everything else. So if I take you guys into my data right now, this is pretty cool, I think, because when we are profitable, everybody will be able to look back on this and be like, wow, he literally showed everything. He showed his analytics, he showed his trading, he showed his log history, everything. And he showed his strategy refinement, when he was improving, how he was learning, everything. His thoughts, how, that's, I just think that's cool. I mean, I always say, I make these for me. So if I ever have a scenario, which I never will again, where, I make it into the big leagues for a second and then I lose everything like we did, which, like I said, will never happen again, because we didn't have the proper habits in place to maintain what we had. I could look back at these videos with full discrepancy and break it down and know, okay, this is what I did in order to get to where I got to. This is what I need to do. Just do this again. If you know exactly what you did to get to where you got to, just keep doing that. But if you don't, then that makes an issue now. No, exactly. Because now you're just like, okay, well, what did I do? I think I did this. I'm not fully sure. Let me eat my yogurt. So, didn't have enough data on this, but I figured, okay, this is a setup that looks appealing to me. Wasn't the best setup, I will say that, primarily because we didn't have that regular fair value gap I wanted to see. Usually I have an inverse within a fair value gap and have them overlaying. That is double confluence. I love that. I have a 80% win rate utilizing inverse fair value gaps, or what you could see right here. Okay, well, I drastically increased it. It's 72% win rate. Increase the probability when utilizing those two confluences on top of each other. However, we didn't have that. But you can see the follow through rate is actually low, so I haven't tested it enough with all the trades that I have, which also showcases that, okay, well, there's more testing, there's more learning to be involved before you just go and execute like this. However, that's exactly what we did. Had our entry at the inverse, got literally swept out. That's hilarious. Got swept out, and then price action pushed back to the upside or to the downside. That's all that happened. What could we have improved within this trade or trade entry? That's something I literally took a nap, and in my meditative state while napping, I came to the conclusion that it was something pertaining to our trade entries. Our trading psychology is crazy. I don't mean to say this, but there's people on the internet that I have better psychology than, and young kids too, who are making money, than people. Wait, what? Yeah, no, yeah. And that's not an egotistical thing. I'm not saying it in an ego way. I'm just saying it in your approach and your mindset to trading. If you don't always have a growth mindset, you will become stagnant. And a lot of people within the industry, calluses, have that. They get to, and that's where you get to a cap. I don't want to get to a cap. The thing is, I don't even have a cap right now. Not even making money right now. The last thing I would want is for this to compound once I start making money. And then I view it as a mental cap. And then breaking that mental structure in your mind is so much more difficult when you're making money. Want to know why? Because you don't want to lose it now. Because you got to where you were. And now you're scared to take that other risk. Unless you're someone that's just crazy and ready, balls to the wall, ready to risk it all. In that case, I commend you. You will achieve more than the 99% that never will. But yeah, that's the trade recap. What could we have done better? The trade entry. Going to look into the trade entries. What specifically? This is where I go to my mind map. I need to group all the losses together, but that's going to be a whole forever. What is our least probable trading strategy and what is our most probable trading strategy? What we're about to do right now is go into our TradeZella. Remember, these analytics are bluffed up. My actual analytics is something around this right here. Let me zoom in. So something around this right here. This was from the video, how to recover from breaking your trading rules. These are like my raw analytics. 50% win rate, 49% win rate, 2.3% profit factor, 2.38 profit factor. That's my raw analytics. These are amplified so I can see just where my strategy works. Subjective. But I do know which trades are valid trades. This is red, 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 red. So I know which trades are good, which trades are not. What we're about to go do right now is get an image of both a horrible trade setup, a ball sack trading setup, and an amazing trade setup. And I want to put them side by side. Obviously, that's why I'm also doing this. Where is this? Comparing the losing trades to the winning trades. I have not created the section for the winning trades yet. But I think going in and really comparing them and being able to visualize and see them will allow our mental state to become aware of what to focus on executing upon and what to kind of dish to the side and be like, this, forget this trash. Because there's a lot of good trading opportunities. I get good opportunities and I know subconsciously what I want to journal, if that makes sense. You never want to journal a ball sack trade. And you know when you're taking a ball sack trade. And you know when you journal it, even if it's not in the moment when you take the trade, okay, though it may be a win, you may be like, oh, cool winning trade. And then you look at the trade, you're like, you stare down like a monkey at the zoo looking at you. And I'm not talking about those black people. No. I'm talking about the actual monkeys, the gorillas, the baboons. Well, we fall into that category. That's besides the point. Whoa. Yeah. So this trade execution on the 5-minute imbalance of the equilibrium of the imbalance would have been something I, would feel pleasure, absolute pleasure, journaling and recapping, because recently I've been having trade entries that immediately into drawdown, and guess what? All of those trades have been losses. There's a huge common differentiator between my winning trades and my losing trades, and I'm not fully sure of that yet because I haven't fully broke it down. But I know there's something huge within it, because my trade entries that are A plus and that are winners, obviously it's all probability, give and take, right? But I will always say this. I always get filled, but I never immediately get liquidated. That's the thing. On my winning trades and even amazing losing trades, A plus losing trades, I never immediately get liquidated. Never immediately get liquidated. I get filled, price slightly moves within the direction, it floats for a while, consolidates, and then stops me out. It never, ever, 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 you could see, just like within these trades, it just liquidates me right off rip. Or it's just like, okay, yeah, you're out the trade position within minutes. Never. And this one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes out. If we look at my TradeZella data reports, let's go to time, date and time. I know nobody's going to watch this point, but for the people that eventually do, you'll understand how I became profitable. Time interval, 5 minutes. Where do I showcase it? Where was it? I was just looking at it the other day. Exit time. Bam, right here. 7 minutes, 7 minutes. Loss. 8 minutes. Okay, that's one. But you could see right here. All of my quick trades like that, loss. Instant liquidation. And that's not for no reason. There's always reasoning. There has to be, because if there's not, then there's no edge within the market. There has to be a reasoning, and if you can find that reasoning, you win. It's as simple as that. And you don't even have to find the reasoning and fix it. You just have to find it and tweak it a bit. It doesn't have to be 100% fixed. You just got to utilize it to your favor. You have to utilize it and see how the probabilities can play within your favor when you execute on your trade strategy, right? That's all it is. It's very, very simple, but it's tricky. It's difficult. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to sit there and do the mind mapping and do the journaling and do the reflection and look at the data analytics and then focus on the journaling aspect. Nobody, wants to do that. And no, when I said journaling twice, I meant like journaling analog with pen and paper, right? In your notebook, and journaling on the computer. Nobody wants to do that because it's boring. Like, it's so boring. You guys don't know. Dude, I went to sleep at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Why? Because I procrastinated on work that I should have done. This trading work. That's how boring it is. And guess what I did? Watched YouTube. Yeah, I watched YouTube. I'm not perfect. I watched it for however many hours because I was running from the work I had to do because it's that boring. Nobody wants to do it. I don't even want to do it, but we have to. It's not about if you get everything done in this day. Just start hacking at it, and the more you hack at it, the more you enjoy it. Like today, I went to sleep. I'm like, damn. Woke back up at 6. I'm like, damn. Okay, well, now we got to get back to work. I'm like, okay, I clearly have a YouTube problem. Because I'm running from the work I need to do. I'm just not going to get on any social media at all. None at all. Until I figure this out, I'm not getting on any social media. And, that's pretty easy for me to do. Because getting on social media is the hardest part for me. Like, I can resist it very well. But getting off, when I'm telling you, YouTube algorithm's insane. And I like YouTube more than TikTok, so YouTube algo is insane. But hopefully they'll promote this video with that. But it's 22 minutes, 23 minutes. Nobody's gonna watch this to the full. But this is a lesson. I'll title this series like lessons. But yeah, focus on doing the boring things. It's so boring. Nobody wants to do it. I don't want to do this. I have to go to work, and then right as I come back home from work, I have to do this before I go to the gym. I have to figure this out or get a gauge and understanding. Just do the boring things. Do the mind mapping even though you don't understand how to do it. Do the journaling even though you don't have a set mental template on how to journal. Just get your thoughts out in words. Do the Notion journals. Do the TradeZella journals even though you don't have solid trading analytics and you have to import all your trades. Do your trade recaps even though you don't want to do them. Fully break them down. Break down the reasoning, break down the market conditions, break down all this stuff. Get your data analytics even though you don't want to do it and it takes forever to do it. I know you don't want to do it. And I'm not calling you a loser for not wanting to do it. Nobody. It's so boring. It's so boring. But it's what pays the bills. It's what pays off. You want a twin turbo Huracan? You want an SVJ? Shoot, you may want a Pagani. I don't know. You may want an AMG GT Black Series. Who knows what you want? You may want a 720S. You may want a 765 LT. You may want to just retire your family. You may want to travel the world with your boys. Or a woman. Women. Don't know how we feel about that one. Or you may want to marry a girl you think is amazing and then have her divorce you 40 years later. 20. 10. 5. And then take half your money. I don't know what you want. You may want to adopt a bunch of random children and start a little army. That'd be sick. Or you may want to foster 1,000,000 dogs. Well, not foster, own them. Fostering's so sad. Like, you have them for such a short time and you give them up. Like, I can't do that. I gotta keep you. Or you may want to build a wall to keep the gays. Sorry. Whoa, I can't say that. I can't say that. Of course I can say that. Who do you think I am? I'm me. Anyway, that's the main premise of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the mini lesson today. I will catch you guys in the next video. Tomorrow's lesson. Well, whenever we trades lesson. These are trading lessons.